Looks like I get some good lighting here or something, yeah. So I was really just wanting to see what the whole big fuss was about with the mirrors and stuff, and how they were moving and the shapes was moving. I didn't even realize it until after I watched the video back of that right there. I didn't even see it while the video was being recorded. I went back and looked over it, and here it is in slow motion, and you can see the eyes. Would
it be a little odd if in someone's religious book it said the age of consent is 3?
Yeah. What?
Would it be a little weird if in someone's religious book it would say the age of consent is 3?
Yeah.
Did you know that's a thing?
Really?
Can you guess which religion?
Mormon.
Another guess, maybe?
Catholic. Christian.
He's getting it. Look, you don't even need all of that, dude. You're gonna catch me regardless. Like, who are you trying to catch? And yet, still no cure for cancer, supposedly. This scene was actually pretty crazy. I was like reading into it on YouTube and watching like more in-depth videos, and it was like 7 years back on Earth for every 1 year on Miller's planet.
So when maybe you or somebody else creates an AGI system and you get to ask her one question, what would that question be?
What's outside the simulation?
Elon, thank you so much for talking today. It was a pleasure.
Are you coming to the tree? They strong up a man. They say they never quit. Strange things that happen to you. Strange would it be? And me, right in the hanging tree.
I've posted an older clip of this that was similar to this. I think it was like the 2024 Hunger Games. Pretty much same idea, same video, just different clips and different celebrities. I'm pretty sure many people have took this into perspective or thought about it, but like it just like baffles me that we do live in the actual Hunger Games. When you really think about it, you don't even really got to think about it. Just look at how much celebrities or billionaires or how much some politicians are making in 1 year compared to like people out there scrounging up scraps for food or like anybody that's homeless at the end of the day. There would be no rich people if there wasn't poverty.
Today is an opportunity for Anne and Bill to have a conversation through our brain decoding.
We just trained some new models yesterday.
The device is an electrocorticography grid, which is attached to a pedestal, which is screwed onto the participant's skull. Anne is the very first person to have this combination.
I think you are wonderful.
Her facial muscles, and that's what we're able to decode into speech.
Hey Ann, how's it going?
It is good to see you.
I was thinking about running to the store.
What time will you be home?
In about an hour.
Do not make me laugh.
What if the only way they're able to provide this or offer this to people is through Neuralink, though? Could you imagine that? They would start with all the disabled people or those people who can't function properly, because what choice do they really have, right? But put all that stuff to the side, and this is actually something amazing.
You're saying that we should be able to upload our consciousness?
Yeah, the technology will exist to upload your consciousness onto a computer.
Holy.
That's true immortality. That's the closest thing you'll get to true immortality. It's probably going to become a very natural path for most humans.
What would it even be uploaded into? Like a cloud?
Yeah, it'd be uploaded to a cloud.
Do you think that you can experience life by uploading your consciousness to a cloud?
Eventually, yeah, if you uploaded and then you could download into a humanoid robot, then you would experience the real world like any other world. Or you could continue in some kind of simulated universe, play a video game in the cloud kind of thing.
What do you think happens when you die?
Elon always talks about we live in a simulation. As AI has gotten better at simulating the world, it's making me think more and more that we probably live in a simulation.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Black Mirror, San Junipero, that one episode, bro. It's a good episode, but everything's starting to become like real, it seems like.
Photos you've taken inside your house can now be located. Check this out. We're gonna start with this random bed frame in San Francisco. Watch this. First, I'm gonna go to GeoSpy, and I'm gonna try to upload that same image. And then we're gonna search. Now I'm gonna wait. And while I'm waiting, it's searching through the huge database looking for interior photos. Here's the original photo, and here's another angle from that room, and another angle with the same address. Wild. This tool will only be used for suspects in child crime related cases, but any other service could come out in the future with the same thing, so be careful what you post and stay safe.
So you're telling me people could probably find my house just from my background?
You know about how like birth control's in all water now?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that's poisoning us that we should be like really concerned about right now.
There's birth control in the water.
Yeah. One, Alex Jones was right about the atrazine and what it does to frogs.
I like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Two, there's a bunch of other stuff that's probably androgenizing us, that's not good. You know, women take hormonal birth control, they then, urinate, that goes into the water system. A lot of cities recycle their water, but we don't have any specific filtration mechanism for those hormones. So they just get recycled and pumped back into the municipal water supply.
So is this like a significant amount of birth control in the water?
Yes.
And there's an infertility problem?
Yes.
How does it affect males, do you know?
It makes you more asexual. Yeah, so it makes you less of a guy and more of a sort of, I don't know, like the way that most guys are now.
The way that most guys are now. Yeah. I've heard there's so many conspiracies about the chemtrails, and I've heard that they're spraying estrogen in the air to
Well, let me tell you something, though.
Oh, shit. Here we go.
So the material that we use, it freezes the liquid in cloud into snowflakes that fall, right? Pure testosterone. It's not as effective, but it's almost as effective as silver iodide. So if we really want to make America healthy again, you know about how like birth control...
Start just spraying testosterone all over America, bro. Make America great again.
We legitimately don't know what China is doing on the other side of the moon?
No, we don't. Unless we have a constellation of satellites flying around the moon that can see and understand what's going on, we're blind.
I'm getting real upset.
So the twist there is China is there on the moon, on the far side of the moon. We don't know what they're doing because we don't have infrastructure up there to even see what's going on. But we do know they're mining helium-3. If America does not change our strategy and how we're investing in space, we will become victims to others that use space as a way of dominating the energy market, but also the information market. It's back to Sun Tzu and the art of war. Know thy enemy, know thyself. And if you are deceived in your own arrogance and your own dominance of the past, eventually you're going to be a dead man.
So this is the drone mothership.
This is the drone
mothership that China's created. So this is an enormous ship that can send thousands of drones. Time to learn Mandarin, I think.
Wow.
John Cena was right. Look at that. 25 meters wide. Wow. That's wild. That's big.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like
it's a quarter of a football field.
I don't know. So it's war is changing, isn't it?
Like the fact that they have the whole blueprint and layout just like made and concocted is insane. Wait, I don't get it. You're contracted to repair a hole in a building, but realize that you aren't going to make it back home. Is that the moon?
Nice truck, boss. If you work hard, do overtime, and come in on weekends, next year I'll buy myself an even better one.
Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Yeah, why? Because of who's on that list. I guess I should have known when I gazed at his vacant eyes that something was missing. That he didn't have all the pieces. And I don't feel the same way about Dan Bongino. I got problems with Dan Bongino. Dan Bongino is like a boxer dog. Okay, it's not the brightest breed, but it's totally loyal and it's very naive. You look at Dan Bongino, he's like a scared boxer dog, and Kash Patel's sitting there next to him, holding a leash, yanking it every once in a while, and he's just trying not to mess up because he's been psyoped so badly. But I wish that I could jump through this camera right now and politically, metaphorically, spiritually, philosophically, rip Kash Patel's face off, turn it around, and show it to him so he can see what a giant looks like.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration.
No, what it sounds like is a bunch of cover-ups. It sounds like a bunch of shit's happening to cover up the fact that we're not going to get those files.
Did they really think that we weren't going to see this and figure this out? A whole minute's gone and we're just going to be okay with that? Unbelievable.
All right, guys, we're going to drop the Epstein files.
God, there's about damn time. We need to find out who's on that list. Who's on the list?
What list? Y'all just said it was a list. Y'all just said it was a list. We ain't find no list. We don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, hey!
No, you're not understanding.
Yeah.
We're kicking 20 million Americans off their health care so we can give tax breaks to the billionaires.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much.
Isn't it also weird that he died for all of your sins except one? Every sin except one.
What's the one?
Don't believe in him. Like, you don't believe in him, so you're going to hell. Everything else, you're good.
Hey man, can you lower egg prices?
Best I can do is change the name of the Gulf of Mexico.
Best I can do is send 50 billion to Israel.
You're born a sinner. By being born, you are a sinner and you're going to hell. But you can just apologize and then you can go to heaven. No big deal. If you're a murderer, same thing. It's just apologize and go to heaven.
And he asks me, should we go to Earth? And I'm like, to do what? Build another pyramid? They still don't know. They still don't know.
So let me get this straight. You humans pay money to drive to a gym and then walk on a treadmill? Cooked.
All right, how much does it cost to go to college in Sweden?
Nothing.
Nothing. Oh, wow, no kidding. But that must be the healthcare system is really expensive, right?
It must be.
Yeah. How much does it cost to have healthcare in Sweden?
Nothing.
We have enough money. This is what you got to get in your head. We have enough money in this country to do any goddamn thing you want to do.
My daughter, she's 11, and she asked to borrow my iPad to watch YouTube videos. And that's how I learned. She's not at the age where she's just watching them. She's leaving flirty little comments on the videos.
Oh, no,
I like your video, winky face. And that's fine. Whatever. She's 11. But then I remembered she doesn't have a YouTube account.
Oh.
That's my iPad.
Oh, so your
That's
name
just Mark
is leaving
Shallow
the
through comedy, jumping into the comments of these teenagers' makeup tutorials. Just like, I like your video, winky face. That's what I'm concerned about.
Yeah, Gen Z doesn't know how to write a check. They don't know how to address an envelope. They don't know how to read cursive.
Boomers can't use Zelle. They don't know how to upgrade their phone. They don't know how to say they're sorry. They can't admit when they're wrong. They keep hoarding all the money.
I used to tell my mom, I'd be like, do you remember when you did this or told me this when I was younger? And she'd be like, no, I didn't do that. I didn't. And I'm just like, oh, so I'm just making shit up.
Let's take a quick look at Stephen Hawking. I've talked a lot about how Stephen Hawking was not a real person. He was a character. And people say, how dare you, Big Bear? How dare you? When Dave Chappelle makes fun of it in 5 years, we'll discuss it. But this is an actual translation. Before his robot voice, he had a translator who looks exactly like Larry Bird. Tell me if you think that anything about this is real.
I think, in a way, physics has been a progress away from mysticism towards a rational understanding of the universe.
Stephen, when did you first realize you wanted to be a physicist?
I think I knew from about the age of 9 or 10 that I wanted to be a scientist. Most of my activities, like playing with model fireworks, or model railways, or playing complicated games, was aimed in some way at finding out how the world worked around me. I was never very good with my hands, when my models did not work very well.
Okay, guys, we can all see that this is not real at all. It was normalized by Han Solo and Chewbacca. As you can see there, on the left is Han Solo, and on the right is Chewbacca. No one understands the grunting and gurgling, but somehow Han Solo, with his he has the same haircut as Han Solo, and he's alleged to be a very handsome Larry Bird guy. There is no way that the gurgling, and this is why the internet changed the entire game with scams, is back in the day, a lot of people were not exposed to people that treat people with ALS or a lot of these ailments. Ukrainian Bear is currently taking care of someone with ALS. We can talk to him right now. Is that possible?
I think that nowadays we have translated that into studying physics. It goes in the way.
The funniest guy by far is this guy, because I think he's watching this whole thing like, just don't point out that this isn't real.
Yeah, I barely understood what he was saying. There's no way that guy could understand him. But my thing is, I wonder if that was actually him talking through the robot voice this whole time. Because, I mean, the guy really couldn't move at all, and he had like a little computer or a tablet in front of him that was probably being controlled by somebody else elsewhere.
Avi Loeb on Joe Rogan, he was talking about Muamua, which is like this cigar-shaped alien vessel that doesn't seem to be from our solar system, and it doesn't seem to be natural. And so I reached out to Avi and I said, hey, is there anything I can help you with? Avi's like, well, we've been tracking this one heavenly body, this meteorite that hit Earth in 2014, and we think it's from a different solar system. It's like, do you want to be part of it? I was like, do I? Sea salvage operation off the coast of Papua New Guinea. This is going to be interesting. All right. So it was like a heist movie. We had like assembled this team of people. We had this weirdo Air Force guy. Then we had this old sea captain who was like 87 years old. He found like Russian nuclear subs and all these other things. Then we had this guy from New Zealand. He was like a famous submarine diver, and he was good friends with James Cameron, and he'd gone to the Titanic a dozen times. A Netflix crew came down and they actually shot a documentary while we were down there, and they're still working on it. What we had to do is we designed this sled with magnets on it, and basically we had it fall behind the ship and sink all the way to the sea floor, 6,000 feet down. And then we dragged it. It's kind of like Spaceballs. We found these spherules that are from a different solar system. After analyzing them, they have about 5,000 times the concentration of beryllium, lanthanum, and uranium. What we think happened was that there was a planet that smashed into something and it broke open and its core was violently ejected. And then it traveled for 1 billion years into interstellar space, and then it ended up hitting the Earth.
What are they using to cut these things out of the stone?
Well, that's a whole other mystery. And then at the quarry, you have these scoop marks. Like you have this whole other technology that exists where it's like they've scooped away at the granite with an ice cream scoop, getting under a piece of stone. Look, they'll tell you that it's a pounding stone of dolerite about that big, and they reckon they were doing this with it, which is, but you know, these scoop marks extend to like the underside of rocks where you're pounding up, and it's just, it doesn't make sense. None of this fits the evidence that gets presented, and there's something else at work here. Like there's some other technology that's been used to remove this granite at a rapid rate. Like the scoop mark in the obelisk it's a whole other mystery.
I mean, I'm far from an expert, but I don't think they did that with no rocks, man.
This isn't a mountain. This is the largest tree on Earth, one of America's hidden natural wonders. Can you recognize it? It's called Devil's Tower, and from a distance it looks like a mountain. But get closer, and it looks like something got cut down. It rises 867 feet straight up, That's taller than a 60-story skyscraper. No crater, no lava, no volcano nearby. Just one giant column of stone standing alone. Geologists say it's cooled magma from deep underground, but others believe it's the stump of a prehistoric megatree. The patterns on the sides? They look like fossilized tree fibers, perfectly vertical, perfectly unnatural. Native American tribes have called this place sacred for centuries. Some say it once reached the sky. Others call it the Tree of Life. So, what do you think? Is it just a strange rock? Or is it proof that Earth had giants of its own? Let me know in the comments, because once you see it, you'll never look at trees or mountains the same way again.
Deep in the icy Caucasus Mountains, scientists made a shocking find, a hidden shaft leading to an ancient structure. But what they discovered inside has sparked both amazement and fear. The mysterious site has no records or explanation, and even more chilling, its discovery has been accompanied by strange deaths and unexplained events. Could this forgotten site hold the key to unlocking some of humanity's darkest secrets? Or perhaps rewrite history as we know it? Join us as we uncover the secrets of this hidden wonder and the dark legacy surrounding its existence. Discovery of the Kara-Hora Shaft. Our journey takes us deep into the heart of the Caucasus Mountains, where fearless scientists unearthed an ancient mystery after braving immense challenges. The Caucasus Mountains are an untamed wilderness of rocky peaks and hidden valleys, stretching across southern Russia and bordering the Kabardino-Balkaria Republic. For centuries, this remote region has been rich with ancient myths and legends. Tales of lost civilizations and secret underground cities have echoed through its valleys. The Caucasus is tucked between Europe and Asia and remains rarely explored because of how hard it is to reach. Yet, in 2011, a long-standing mystery was brought to light. Arthur Zhemukov, a Russian expert in cave exploration, embarked on an expedition to the elusive Kara-Hora Peak, drawn by rumors of ancient secrets hidden beneath the rugged landscape. What he and his team unearthed during this daring exploration would redefine our understanding of ancient engineering capabilities. Arthur Zhemukov's 2011 mission aimed to investigate a seemingly natural fissure in the rocky Kara-Hora Peak. Yet, as he descended further, something extraordinary came into view. What began as a simple crack in the earth turned out to be an underground structure. This was no ordinary cave. It seemed like an ancient man-made marvel, hidden from the world for millennia. The shaft plunged straight down for over 130 feet, its walls lined with smooth, precisely cut stone blocks. These massive stones fit together so perfectly that they reminded Zhemukov of the Egyptian pyramids. The walls were polished and straight, giving the place an unnatural, almost eerie feel. Each stone weighed over 200 tons, but how could ancient builders have moved such heavy stones in this remote mountain? It was a mystery that baffled the team. As Zhemukov and his crew went deeper, they found more questions than answers. The shaft eventually opened up into a huge underground hall about 118 feet high. The big right-angled blocks used in its design were too perfect to be natural formations. What Zhemukov saw sent shockwaves through the archaeological world.
I mean, at this point, there's 100% people living down there or like still down there that are like unfound or uncontacted.
The Nazis were probably actually right about this. The moon is a reflection of the Earth, and it's basically a map in the sky. That's why in World War II they were so obsessed with Antarctica and they wanted to go over there, because they wanted to see what other secret lands were passed over there. And I showed this video of the map about a year ago, the moon map reflection, German map, but all those other sections over there on the left, that's all ice. This is where we are on the right, that's Earth. And those are all of our continents. But if you go anywhere outside of that, it's all ice, because the sun has a like 26,000 cycle where here, this is the path of the sun over our continents. It's only in that quarter of the moon. And like in 2,000 years, it'll be over on the left side, and then those continents will all thaw out. But right now, they're all ice. So here's a more detailed picture of that map. Over on the right, those are our continents. And everywhere outside of it, that is all ice, because the sun is not traveling in those regions, it's only in our section. But every 2,000 years or so, it slowly drifts into the next quarter of the moon reflection map. It's just a new land of continents, but they're all covered by ice because there's no actual sun over there to melt the ice that's on top of there. And that's why we hear about global warming happening and that the sea levels are going to rise, but that's only because the sun is actually changing position. It's not getting hotter, and it's going to be melting the ice over on the side continents. So the sea levels are going to rise. That's why we also hear about how half of Antarctica is freezing and half is warming up. That's because it's actually a giant ice ring. It's a circle. So one side of it has more sun and one side has less sun. So that's why it doesn't really make too much sense when they say one half is warming up and one half is freezing, but it's just because of the position of the sun.
Alright, so there's a theory going around that technology is ran by demons, and I thought this was nonsense at first until I actually dug into it. Cause y'all know me, I gotta dig into things. So when you look at circuit boards and motherboards, they all have these weird little patterns all over them that look just like this. So if you read the Lesser Key of Solomon, it basically talks about how Solomon probably used like demons to help build the temple. And the way he did it was basically by like trapping them inside of like sigils and symbols. This is why you get stuff like this. They be like, these are different types of demons. And you wonder like, what do these symbols mean? These symbols are sigils. Sigils are symbolic representations, often pictorial, that are believed to hold magical or mystical power, particularly in occult and magical practices. They are used to represent specific intentions, energies, or entities, and are believed to facilitate communication with the subconscious mind or to manifest desired outcomes. So after hearing that theory and then reading the Lesser Key of Solomon, you're like, huh. And then there's also a bunch of ancient buildings that are designed just like our circuit boards and our motherboards. It really does just make you wonder. Like there's so many examples of like ancient buildings and even modern civilization that looks just like technology. Because in the Lesser Key of Solomon, it talks about how these seals and sigils, they were made with like metals, like silver, gold, copper, just like technology. Because in the Lesser Key of Solomon, it also talks about how these seals and sigils, they were made with like different types of metals. Like copper, silver, gold, metals that go into our technology, metals that go into our architecture. And when you look at our technology, it looks like these seals and sigils are in our motherboards and our circuit boards. I'm not saying this is true by any means, but hey, it's kind of interesting to think about, you know what I'm saying?
So what we're trying to find out here is just light limited on projection or on reflection.
You can see it goes infinite amounts of time. So the idea is as we point the laser gets dimmer at a certain point of which the laser is bouncing back and forth, and we're trying to figure that out. So all right, lights off. We take a laser and we
Now try leading it up. Yo. One movement unlocks so many different patterns.
light off, and then the problem is too, under the dark circumstances, the light that's only emitting from the laser is only what I can tell of what it's going to. I can't see how far it's going beyond there.
CIA likes to hire people with anxiety. It likes people that have a natural set of anxious or paranoid wiring in their head, because those are people who are already more naturally cued for details, observable changes in their environment. So then all they have to do is train you to control your anxiety, and they get all the benefits of you already naturally being paranoid. So the way that they train us to overcome our anxiety is to basically say, okay, you can't control all of this, but as you shrink the circle, you increase control exponentially. So you can't control what your neighbor is doing 2 buildings away right now in their living room. You have no control over that. But when you shrink it to what you're doing in your living room right now, you have almost total control. That's what we do at CIA all the time. You can't control the surveillance team, but you can control your movements. And when you control your movements, you'll be able to spot the surveillance team, which then gives you a chance to increase your nexus of control. And when you can see that you have surveillance, you can count how many surveillance and describe them. You increase your nexus of control. If you try to start here, it's never going to happen. Shrink it down, grow it from there. The way that we're trained to overcome anxiety.
In the movie Monsters, Inc., if you had 4 dimensions, that's what it would look like. They take the doors home, they open the door, and they're in the closet of the kid that they're going to terrorize. That is what access to the 4th dimension looks like. We've got a nice broad desk here at this interview, right? Desk is 2 dimensions. It's got length and width. And I can start putting papers on this desk. If I'm an ant living in this surface of the desk, I say, no more room. But wait a minute, we are 3-dimensional people, and I can put an organizer and stack things vertically. So I can take a sheet of paper, and now I can put it higher up than the surface of the desk. The ant will say, where did it go? You would have made that paper disappear into a 3rd dimension. So now let's up this example by a dimension. You're storing boxes in a room. Oh, I ran out of room. No, you didn't. Let's open this 4-dimensional door. You open it, put the boxes through the door, close the door, box is gone. That is a portal to a 4th dimension that can hold vastly more content than what you're stuck storing in the 3-dimensional space of your room. They got the physics of 4-dimensional portals completely accurate.
It makes me wonder if that's why CERN was trying to open up portals or something, because like that's another smart way, I guess, you can get rid of like all the plastic, the pollution, and all the BS that we're just harming the earth with. Technically, I guess you could just throw it through the 4th dimensional door.
It was in 1969 in Siberia. It was this coal mine, and they were down 230 feet, and this one guy hit the coal, a hole opened up, and it was a tunnel. And so him and a couple guys went into this tunnel. What they found was this 8-foot long by 3-foot high white marble sarcophagus. Boss alerts the Siberian officials, like military and stuff like that. But the coal miners were like, once the SSR dudes get down here, they're gonna take it, and it's probably treasure. Pop the lid. Smart. And what they find in there is a perfectly preserved woman who was wearing like a translucent dress covered in this like pink liquid. The SSR officials, military gets there, and it was too heavy to lift, and instantly after they drain it, the woman started to decompose.
It was preserving her?
They brought it back, they did tests on it and stuff, could not identify what the pink liquid was. Immediately after that, all the miners were fired, and then around the coal mine they had armed military the whole time. It was in the 70s that these news reporters were writing about this, and the KGB is like, stop talking about this, and they're in fact arrested.
In the 70 plus years the FBI top 10 most wanted list has existed, there has only been 11 men to have ever evaded capture so long that they were removed from the list altogether. One of those men are William Bradford Bishop Jr. On March the 1st of 1976, Bishop was expecting to finally get a long-awaited promotion from the U.S. State Department in D.C., where he was working as a diplomat. However, that morning, after Bishop arrived for work, he was informed that the much anticipated promotion would not be coming after all. Bishop would ruminate on the devastating news for the remainder of the morning, before he would finally notify his secretary after lunch that he wasn't feeling well and needed to go home. But when more than a week would go by without anyone hearing from William Bishop or the Bishop family, police were notified and decided to send a detective to the home. When the officer made entry into the house, he found it a bloody mess, with blood splatter all over the walls, the floors, and everywhere in between. Missing from the home was, well, everyone. Bishop, his wife, his 3 children, and his mother-in-law. The bodies of the family were eventually found some 275 miles away in a swampy North Carolina area. The remains had been doused in gasoline and partially burned. The only body missing, of course, was that of William Bradford Bishop. On March 18th, the Bishop's station wagon was located abandoned in East Tennessee with the trunk covered in blood. Once police were able to piece together that Bishop actually purchased a gas can and a ball pen hammer after he left work the day of the homicides, they charged him with 5 counts of first-degree murder. Despite numerous alleged sightings over the years and his time spent on the FBI top 10 most wanted list, Bishop has never been located and in 2018 was removed from the list for good, when at the time, Bishop would have been 81 years old.
It was about this dude named James Huberty. He started telling his wife randomly, right? And he was a normal guy. He started telling his wife randomly, he was like, babe, I think I'm developing mental issues. And she was like, babe, you're tripping. Like, no, there's no way. He was like, I don't know. Like, I really think that there's something, I don't know. I just think I'm developing something. I don't know. It was almost like he was calling it early, right? Which is weird. He ends up even going to like a mental facility. These people, when he talked to them, they were like, bro, you're too well-spoken. You're too like, he seemed too much of a good guy.
Yeah, you're not crazy. You're normal.
They were like, nah, bro, it's all good. Like, you don't need this. And he talked to like a bunch of other places that all basically turned him away. Like, nah, man, you're good. And then one day, I think like 2 weeks after this, he tells his wife, honey, I'm gonna miss you. And he kisses her. He leaves the house, he gets in his car. Oh, and he took his gun too. He had a, I forgot what kind of gun it was, but goes to a McDonald's that was by their house and he killed 20 people at the McDonald's.
What the
Yeah. And then he ends up going to...
I think I heard about this before.
Yes, bro. Crazy as bro. Yeah. And then
out of McDonald's, bro.
McDonald's killed 20 people.
Damn.
You know what I mean? So is that not interesting that he kind of warned everybody?
Yeah, yeah. And nobody
believed him.
Yeah, no one believes him.
You know, they were just like, bro, come on, because we're focused on the now.
Yeah.
And seeing how he talks and all these other things. But it's like, if he tells you he's something, bro, believe him.
Yeah.
Have you heard the Tartarian?
Yeah, Sam Tripoli brought that up.
Yeah, there's many levels to it. One of them is there's evidence that there was a great mud flood. And then there's evidence that there was an electromagnetic cataclysm. Did you know bricks conduct electricity?
Bricks do?
Yeah.
Here it is. Bricks can be charged up to 10,000 times, says scientists. Whoa, so your fucking house could be a battery?
I know you from Robot Chicken.
That's so fun.
Yeah. For the people who don't know, explain to them the concept of Robot Chicken.
I invented a child molesting robot.
What's not to understand?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll speak up. It's a robot that is designed to molest children. And I call it...
It's fairly self-evident, Robot Chicken. Yeah.
It's all in the title.
Yeah.
And it can, theoretically, molest twice as many children as a human molester in, quite frankly, half the time. So, do I win the contest? I think I win?
3 Emmys. Yeah. 3 damn Emmys. Congratulations.
Yeah. It seems so odd to get awards for that.
No, yeah, and we have a clip here, I understand, of this.
What you do is you start by building a regular robot, then you molest it and hope that it continues the cycle.
She was absolutely shocked when she saw this man peeing, but as she walks to her right, there's another man doing the same thing. So why in the world is this happening? Well, you see, it's not at all what it looks like, because people on the outside are walking by like nothing's wrong. But here's what she didn't realize. Since the whole time while she was taking selfies and posing in the mirror, people in front of her were using the toilet.
Alright guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video right here. If you guys did enjoy this video, let me know by leaving a thumbs up and or subscribing if you guys are new. If you guys do want another video tomorrow, you guys know what to do. Get this video to, let's say, 150 likes, and then I got you guys again tomorrow. But anyways, I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys in the next one.